All right,
Oh,
everybody. Appreciate y'all tuning in to watch our on the block podcast here with Cody. What's up,
What's
Cody? Thanks for
going
joining us,
down?
bro.
What's up, guys? Thank you.
how's it going?
Yeah, man. How's
How's life?
tell us about life in New Jersey?
My God, dude, it's crazy. It's hectic. Coming back home when I was in the house like 5 days ago, it's wild. My head's still spinning. I'm still thinking about everything that happened in the game. Watching a bunch of videos. It's a world.
Have you been watching like a lot of
different
live
things.
feeds? Have you tried to even like jump on the live feeds? It gets annoying, but it's kind of fun to like have people show you some nice little like, oh, this is a good one that you should watch.
Yeah. I mean, I go on and obviously people have the clips that are online, and those are pretty cool. They're like really cool to just see like some different things like, that I remembered in the house that like Zach was doing. The kid was a lunatic. And being able to watch some of his stuff that I was right there for is the best. My dad was showing me a lot, and
That's great.
he logged me into the live feeds and seeing how it is. Oh my God, I'm obsessed, man! I can't wait for next season. I'm gonna be all over those.
Oh yeah.
They're the best.
So you are planning to watch live feeds next year?
Oh my God! Immediately when they go out, I'm purchasing them in a second.
Hell
yeah.
It's
Hell
so
yeah.
sick.
You're hooked.
Yeah, and Cody, one thing I recommend you do that I didn't do, I wished I had, was while your live feeds are still up, ask people for different timestamps of certain things that happened, just so you can go back and watch them. Because once the feeds are pulled down, you can only watch what people have pulled off and put on YouTube or whatever. So if there's something in particular you think you might want to watch, like ask for the timestamp if you're not sure what it was exactly, and go back and watch some moments because, like, once it's gone, I don't know how you can pull it back up. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, dude, let's kind of get cranking here. Let's talk about. I want you to talk to us about how you got involved with Big Brother, your history with Big Brother, how big of a fan you were coming into it, and then how your process got started for you to be on the cast this season.
Yeah. Man, Big Brother. My dad is a huge fan of Big Brother. So, he always watched, but the whole like 3 times a week when I was in high school, like it was tough for me to watch it.
Sure.
But then, like my dad would be sitting down and I would be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, watch Big Brother again." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go upstairs and like try to text a girl in high school." And so, then Jeff and Jordan season hit, and I was obsessed with Jeff and Jordan.
Yeah.
So from there out, I just started watching religiously. Season 12 really got me hooked. And then, because I loved Brendan, Rachel, bringing them back on season 13 with Jeff and Jordan, dope. I was all about that. And then season 14, I loved it. It was the first time I'd ever seen Boogie. And I thought Boogie was the man. And Frank and and then last season is when my best friend and I, we were in college, we were watching a lot. And so I was just hooked ever since season 11. But last season was season 14 and 15 were the first seasons I watched. Like, didn't miss an episode. If I missed an episode, I was going back and watching it. And
so,
and then
what like made you like? What changed in your head where it's like I want to go and try out to be on this show? Like, where was the change?
Actually, last season, your guys' season, my buddy and I were watching, and we were like, God, man, this seems so sick. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to be a half knot. I probably would suck at all those competitions. I don't know how I would do with people, but can you imagine, like, they're doing a twist, like, bringing on best friends? So let's go.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
And so it ended up falling into place where somebody actually had, asked me about it. I put in my stuff, and then was getting contacted, and the process just, unfolded. Did
you go to an open casting call, or did you send in a video then?
Well, actually, somebody had. On the weekends, I worked for an entertainment company, and so somebody had saw me at one of the events that was casting, and then, from there I went to not the open casting call, but a different kind of casting, and then after that one is when I came out to LA, and then it was
just kept on going.
Yeah,
So,
it was amazing.
So you were kind of discovered in a way at this bar mitzvah or whatever, but you happen to also be a fan too, so you weren't just a typical man off the street. Okay.
Exactly. That's why. Because the guy, he came up to me. He was like, "Do you know the show Big Brother?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Of course I know the show Big Brother." I was like, "How you gonna act? Like, doesn't everybody know the show?" Like, and he was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing. So you're a fan?" I was like, "Dude, I'm a huge fan." And he was like, "Oh, that's even better." he was like, just give me your information. And I was like, of course, duh. Like the next morning, the first thing I did was wake up, like sent all my stuff in, and that's when the ball got rolling. I sent in a video. I was like, it was so surreal. It was unbelievable that somebody came up to me and was like, oh, like you should try to get on the show. And I was like, yeah. Should I? I was like, definitely. I'm definitely going to.
When you were going through your casting, they usually kind of ask you about, like, what's your strategy going to be? The strategy that you told them there, did that in turn equate to the strategy that you played in the house? Because my strategy outside was completely different than my strategy inside.
No, actually, when I told them, I was like, I need to find one person that I don't need to talk to every day. I was like, I don't need to talk to them every day. I was like, could be a guy, could be a girl. I was like, because then I'm going to go out and I'm going to just, I form good relationships with women. Like, I have a lot of good girlfriends at home. So I was like, I'm going to flirt with all the girls. I was like, I'm going to go in there. Hopefully I get on their good side and the guys don't want to come after me because I'm talking to all the girls. Luckily, I had Derek who protected me from that. And then I was able to get in with the girls, get in with the guys, and it actually worked exactly how I wanted it to before I went in the house. It was crazy. That's exactly what happened.
Well, Cody, we'll bring this up later, but like your flirting strategy was done at a level that like I personally haven't seen it done before. Just as a totally likable person, kind, you were genuine, and like you didn't. Other than just being there was no leading on. Like you have a tremendous ability to flirt, and it helped you. It helped Derek. It helped. Like in all honesty, I was going to get to Christine right now. I was going to start more so with the bomb squad and then the detonators. But I've said this on this podcast before. I've said it out to 1,000 people that you held the most important relationship in the house with Christine, because I firmly believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong with your insider knowledge, but I feel like if you'd let her get astray, she could have formed another side of the house. There essentially was not another side of the house, at least not another active side this season. The bomb squad was so big, and the detonators was, and I think that all the people on the outs of that could have been united had Christine fostered that and let it happen. Do you see it as that way? Do you see that way?
There's actually a point. This is one that I want to try to find. It was, in the week that, Frankie and Christine were apparently, I haven't been able to watch, we're trying to get Derek and I on the block. And Frankie was saying that he was going to target me if there was a double eviction. And that was a week where, after it happened, I said to Derek, I was like, dude, I feel like Frankie, snagged Christine. I was like, I don't think I have her anymore. And Derek's like, dude, you need to get her back. You need to get that information from her. And so I went out and I started, flipping her on Frankie again. And essentially, I think that drastically helped me in week 9 because having her on my side and not wanting to go after me, I think made Zach go up on the block instead of maybe me being a target when I was sitting there. So I really felt that Christine was big, but I know I told Zach too much because Zach started telling her that, I had her in my pocket and she shouldn't trust me. And I was like, it was when people wanted to turn on me, it was pretty easy because everyone knew that I talked to everybody.
Yeah. I'm sure our loyal fans will be able to find that for you. Get on the blockers.
Yeah,
find that timestamp. Yeah, give it to Cody. That'd be great.
Give it to Cody for sure. Okay, let's kind of rewind a little bit and talk about let's talk about the first couple days in the house and get us all the way from the time you walk the door to the formation of the bomb squad, plus your relationship with Derek developing, please.
Bro, because it seems like it happened. It took a span of time, but it literally took 2 days. Yeah. We walked into the house, the HOHs were determined, and then apparently Devin was doing what he did to everybody and running up to form alliances. And so on the second day, everything was kind of unfolding. It wasn't that crazy, and I had noticed that Devin had gotten really close with Caleb. And so I went to Devin. I was like, yo, man, you seem pretty close with him. Do you know where his head's at? And he was like, listen, all right, I need to talk to you, but I'm not going to talk to you right now. And then right when he was starting to kind of talk, Derek walked in the room, and Devin was kind of like, listen, man, I don't want to tell you anything right now, but I'm going to go talk to them. I'm going to try to hook you up. Don't worry about it. I got your back. And I was like, all right. The second Devin left, Derek seemed as I was sitting there, Derek seemed like he was really into talking to me. he was like nodding, like smiling, and I was like, oh, like I was like, who's this guy? Because it was the second day. I hadn't even met him yet.
Sure.
And so Devin walks out of the room, and then Derek and I leave. And literally, I got called up to the bomb squad by Devin, like maybe like an hour later. And they pretty much told me, they were like, you know, we formed an alliance. We weren't really sure about you. We didn't like, you know, how you were acting with the girls. We thought it might have been a threat, like, you know. And I was like, you didn't like how I was acting friendly with everybody? I was like, it was the first day. I was like, you just walked in the house. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And so I walk out, and that's essentially at that point I was like, cool, I'm part of an alliance of 6. That is, I was like, first of all, it's too big. I was like, the thing is huge.
Yeah.
And so right after I joined it, like Derek grabbed me, and he was like, listen, man, I know I know you just got brought into the bomb squad, but listen, man, you kind of were on the outs. I brought your name up, or he said Zach brought your name up, and they were like very weary about you, but he's like, I really like you. He's like, and you're the person that I want to go to like the final 2 with. And I was like, all right, that was on the second day. It was on the second day.
Yeah.
And then from there,
that's when all the best stuff forms, it seems like. Day number 2 seems big. I don't know why, but everything forms on day 2. I don't know.
Huge. And so
yeah, that's
Derek,
really good.
When he linked up with me, I was like, I don't even know what it was, but like, you know, when I talked to Devin, I even talked to Frankie on the first day, and Frankie was hinting at like a final 2 with me. But I was like, it just wasn't. I was like, all right, it's the first day. I'm not forming anything with anybody. Because I was like, I know the show. I'm not being the guy that comes on and like overplays in the beginning. I'm just gonna chill out, lay low, and not kind of put a target on myself. And so when Derek came to me, like something just clicked, and I was like, I trust this guy. I don't know. I got a good read from him, and he was the one that I was never gonna try to cross.
Okay.
It was crazy how it ended up working out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Absolutely. I mean. Absolutely. Hey, did you know about? I don't know how much. Have you watched any of the episodes yet, Cody?
I watched. You know what I watched? I watched the Final Four, HOH veto and eviction, and then the finale.
Okay. Well, you know, you talk about Devin forming all these alliances. Did you know that he formed one called the Crazy Eights and the Double Ds?
I talked about the Crazy Eight all the time.
I
was in the Crazy Eight.
Yeah, that's right. You were in that first group we did. But I love Devin. Boy, he had like 4 alliances like so
and then
quickly.
My favorite story is Derek. He told me a story. He's like, dude, it was the second day. Devin is like, hey man, you want to go check out the chessboard upstairs? And like they spiraled up the stairs and get to the chessboard. And he's like, you have a daughter, I have a daughter. I'm gonna protect you. And I thought that was he was
Team Daughters Alliance. Oh, Team Daughters Alliance. That's the best.
Oh, dude, he
amazing.
It was.
He
seemed like
amazing.
such a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Coming out about it, and then it came out that he was just like overplaying, and I was just like, man, dude, this guy's crazy. But it really was, man. He opened up to me about a lot, and I know that he's a good person that absolutely got caught up in the game. Got so close.
Oh yeah,
certainly.
Yeah, you can tell.
The game has the ability to do that to people, to get them caught up in it. It creates paranoia, distrust, and you know it can come unraveled live on the internet. So it's tough for people. But no, I think Devin's definitely a cool guy. That game was just a little too much for him there at the beginning.
Yeah, he definitely got overwhelmed. So, it made for unbelievable entertainment for me.
Absolutely. Oh, shit. He was entertainment for us. He was such amazing entertainment.
I was obsessed.
Oh my god. Yeah. Did you ever think that your relationship with Amber was gonna hinder or was gonna hurt you with Caleb? Was that ever it was a big thing?
Dude, it was huge. Also, I would be like, well, obviously, like when you're in the house, you get a million different thoughts. You don't want to just believe. A lot of times, you don't want to believe things are exactly what they look like. Mm-hmm. So it was tough because I loved Amber, and you know she was a really nice girl. Like she was always like helping out around the house. She was unbelievable. She was great to talk to, but it was becoming obvious that Caleb and her's relationship was kind of hurting. Not his game. It wasn't hurting his game at all. It was hurting her game. No. And so when she would come to me, I would kind of tell her that. And so I was like, listen, I was like, your relationship with him is hurting your game. I was like, it's not good. And I didn't know if she was telling him what I was saying. I didn't know if she was just trying to maybe like break apart from him because it was too obvious.
Yeah.
And so, with her, I really would have loved to work with her because I knew that she trusted me. But in the back of my head, it was always like, she could be just playing me right now to try to get away from Caleb or make it seem like she's getting away from Caleb.
Well, in a way, it's also better to keep Caleb over her because if you stick with her, you look like the bigger threat. But if you stick with Caleb, Caleb could be the bigger threat, It's
and that was after the first week, everybody looked at Caleb as a threat, and I was like, that's perfect. This kid's gonna be at the house soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, exactly.
Especially when Amber started getting close to me, I was like, dude, man, Amber, you're putting a target on me for Caleb. Because then he started talking to people, and everybody was coming back to me and telling me everything he was saying.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, Cody's putting a target on himself with the house. And I was like, with the house? Nobody's targeting me. I was like,
that, yeah.
I was like, so it made me, Amber getting close with me made me very nervous about Caleb, but I didn't view Caleb as a huge threat. So I was like, he can think what he wants because, to be honest, I was so close with everybody in the beginning that I was like, even if I get put on the block, I'm not going home.
Yeah.
I thought at the beginning of the game you couldn't send me home because of how close I was with everybody.
That's great.
Is that the time you felt in most danger in the house? Was that week when between you and Caleb and Amber when that whole thing was kind of foaming up?
To be honest, no, because Derek won the HOH, then I won the HOH, then Frankie won it. And I knew Frankie wasn't going to cross me, and obviously Derek wasn't going to. So
sure, maybe not in danger for that week, but your game as a whole, did you feel like it could have been?
If Amber stayed in the house, absolutely, because Caleb wouldn't let it go. He would always bring it up to me, and it made me very, very nervous. It made me very nervous because he would bring it up way more than I would have liked it to, and I kept having to reassure him. I was like, dude, I'm playing a game. I was like, I act the same way with her that I act with the other girls. I was like, this is a game. I was like, I'm not trying to be in a relationship with her. We don't feel about each other that way. And it was almost like it wouldn't click in his head that that's all I was doing, because I guess he just didn't want it to be honest.
Yeah, it never clicked in his head. No. He was laser focused on Amber, and like you were breaking that laser beam, he thought. So
and that's why it was definitely dangerous for me, but it wasn't. I don't know.
Shit, it worked out, man. It worked out for you. Everything worked out.
I know. Exactly. That's crazy because it's like if I would have got rid of him when I was the HOH because I felt so threatened, would I? I don't know if I would have been able and because I didn't even put him up, he had no idea that I wanted him up that week, and then he trusted me more than Frankie, who took him off the block. So it worked perfect. It's unreal how the stuff works out in the long run. It's crazy.
It's there's a certain amount of luck that factors in, of course, in everybody's game that you can't deny, or you're the biggest damn liar that's ever played. But at the same time, Cody, you and Derek and the Hitmen strategically played a very good game that, honestly, I can't say was just luck. There's so much luck that factors in, but y'all played a very delicate dance through a cast of honestly crazy people. I mean, Caleb, and I mean that in a loving way. But if you were to say pick out the two most rational people in the house, everybody would have said Derek and Cody. I mean, you're 23, okay, bro? And I have to remind myself of that because you're extremely mature for 23, okay?
Thank you.
Yes.
No, and I'm not and you're mature like your grandmother would say to you. I forgot watching you. I mean, I forgot watching you that you were 23. I mean, when I played with McCrae, he was 24. Not to compare, but you know what I'm saying? It's I don't know. It's
a lot.
Well, fuck you. You surprised. It's the same way I've got to remind myself that me and Frankie played Big Brother at the same age. Frankie's 31. So
just found that out.
Yeah, crazy as hell. Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
But anyway, hey, let's go back. I want to examine you and Derek's relationship a little bit and how the Hitman fell into the shell of Bomb Squad, the detonators that were protected by each other. But what lies, since you've been out of the house, have you found any lies that you found out to be perpetuated by Derek, that he changed the way you viewed the game because of certain lies?
Did he? What do you mean? What do you mean? Did he?
Well,
did I find out? The one thing that I did find out was towards the end of the game how he was pretty much, and I watched the finale episode. Somebody had said Derek was lining up his ducks as they were leaving the house. That's the one thing where I found out that he was kind of saying stuff to keep people from talking to me because essentially all the information was coming from me. So if these people talked to me, it would contradict probably everything Derek was saying to them.
Sure.
I found a lot of that out, but I was just playing a game to be loyal to him. And so I wanted to keep it as fair as I could in the final two. So as these people were leaving the house, I'm like getting caught up in this loyal card with Derek, and we're playing Big Brother, and I should have known these are jury votes, and he was lining them up, and I wasn't, and I found out.
But at the same time, we all know, us three, we've all been there. We know that like your perspective in there is like it's your perspective. Everyone on the outside, we all know like no, but. It's like you don't know that, and you want to play the loyal card, and it's like you played a really good loyal game, like the whole damn time. You killed like all these different competitions, like you had so much to hang your hat on, like you played a really damn good game,
Yeah.
So it's like you guys played two polar opposite games, and like that's the best part about Big Brother is that. You can't be like, oh, one game's better than the other game, I really don't think you can because they both have their merits. I thought you guys both played like really fucking good games.
Oh, I respect finding out a lot more about his game. I respect it so much. He was a little bit. I mean, I never felt manipulated because it was if I'm hearing something from my best friend, that's what I'm going to listen to. That's not manipulation for me. And a lot of the information that he was getting wasn't coming from the other people. It was only coming from me. And then he was able to make these crazy good decisions. And that's why I think, when you're getting all this information, it creates an easy decision. And that's what I feel like Derek always had. And he was so rational. I was a hothead. I would pull this info and I would get heated about it. And I'd be like, dude, we got to do this. And he was like, listen, I'm the outsider. I'm catching this. Let me he would rationalize it, and honestly,
that's the thing is like I can't think of like when two animals work together to help them get further in life. Yeah, symbiotic relationship. Like that's literally what you guys had. Like you guys both washed each other's hands, and like you both, if you guys didn't have either one of you, I don't think either one of you would do as good as you guys did. Like you guys both need each other.
Yeah, and another thing, Cody, it's like I heard y'all talking on the feeds. I believe that y'all both decided it would probably be like a 5-4 vote, and like Christine and Caleb might be kind of the swing votes for the jury. Yeah. Can you explain a little bit about thought process going into jury and?
So my thought process, it was never a thought to take anybody but Derek, especially with Victoria being there. No chance. I was going to take her over Derek. And so I was starting to line up the votes, and I was like, Hayden was one of my best friends, completely got blindsided by me. Everything about him going home fell onto me because he was just pissed that I didn't tell him. Everything about Hayden going home with Nicole fell onto me because she was like, I didn't want to trust you. Hayden told me to trust you, and right when I told you information, it backfired on me. So I knew Nicole was going to be very aggravated toward me. Did Nicole know to the extent of everything that I knew? No, but I knew she was going to backlash on me for that. And then I really would have thought I had Christine's vote, but then again, that one could have been up in the air because I told her I would never vote against her, and she had just wanted to be, we had just made a final two like a week before. So I was like, oh yeah, there's our final two, and then she walked out the door. For me voting against her, and then, finding out that Derek and I were working together, she probably was going to be like, well, I know that Cody knew the entire time. Didn't know if she'd be mad at me. Honestly, Caleb was a huge shock. I could have sworn that kid was going to give me the vote because he had always talked about, he didn't really feel, because as the game went on, people started noticing a lot more about the social game that I was playing. And even Caleb started to be like, dude, you do a bunch, but, like Derek, I feel like isn't really doing much. And I'm sitting there being like, God, you have no idea how much this kid's doing. But I was like, oh, yeah, dude, he was like, I want to go to the end with you. I want to sit next to a beast in the end, And I always, whenever people would kind of want to have final two conversations, I didn't even want to be a part of it. So like I would always steer away from them because I just wanted to be loyal to Derek.
Yeah. And if Derek catches wind of that, like he's gonna come after you.
Yeah, and I just didn't even want it to be a conversation because trust was big with him and I. It was huge, and I trusted him and he trusted me. And so, I knew a lot of the final twos that were going to Derek. Like I knew Caleb had made one with him. I knew that he had one with Victoria. The big surprise was the one that he had with Nicole. I had no idea about that. But then again, Nicole came back into the house and was making final twos. I was like,
everyone, that's all she had.
I was like, I knew I had Donnie's vote, but all the other ones, I was like, dude, these people are toss-ups. A lot of them are probably pissed at me, and I mean, I hope I could get a 5-4 over Derek, but I was like, it definitely made me tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured from watching the entire season that Caleb would vote for whoever Frankie told him to vote for. That's my assessment. I don't think Beast Mode. He's easily influenced, Cody. I know you're that. But.
Beast Mode. Or when Frankie's like, oh, I'm gonna control all the jury votes, and then like Caleb started getting mad, and you, Cody, even were like, man, shut the hell up, like get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like that was awesome. That was like one of my favorite moments the whole season. I couldn't sit his ass down, like shut up.
Yeah, no, I mean. He started. I mean, I after Frankie used the veto on Caleb. That's when I was like, I'm gonna try, and that's when I literally flipped Christine on him like heavy. Christine couldn't stand him, and then I flipped Caleb on him by just telling him all the information that Christine was telling me. I would just say it to Caleb.
Yeah.
About like, I mean, I lied to Caleb on a few things, but it ended up working. And when he sat us down, I couldn't wait. I knew Caleb was gonna go at him because I kept telling Caleb the whole time. Frankie can't beat you in the end. I was like, there's no way he's going to beat you, and that's why. But I was like, that's why he's going to try to send you or me home because he knows he can't beat either of us. And so Caleb, when I saw him going at him, I was sitting there. I was like, this is epic.
Amazing. It was epic too. It was so epic to watch. It seems so fun. We've never really seen Caleb get all heated like that. Like that seemed like that was like one of the only moments in the house that got really heated. Except for maybe one veto meeting, I can't remember, but yeah, that was awesome to watch. Oh, that was awesome to watch.
Yeah, because Caleb, I mean, he's such a good kid. Like he has such a good heart.
He seems like he has a heart of gold.
He's not confrontational. And so when this came out, it was a lot of different things that led up to it, and Caleb just started to get pissed, and then his ego gets into it. And then it's an argument, and it was it was good to watch. It was good to watch.
Yeah. Good TV too.
Speaking of fights, I do want to say that Megan Chris 09 off Instagram basically asked tell us more about Frankie and that night acting like he's going to control the show. _Stephanie _95 you need to change your name. Wants to know the long of fights. Did you believe the Derek and Victoria fight? All that kind of stuff. Explain that to us. Your point of view.
Like calling it a fight. Like she called him out, and then like they never talked. Like I feel like it got made out like it was like a huge thing, but like they never fought in the house. Like he told her, I'm not voting for her. She was going home that week.
Yeah, and then they ignored each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it was essentially just like ignoring. And I mean, honestly, Victoria would always like smile at him, and I would always look at her, and it seemed so odd to me. I just was always like, dude, why? Because for me, I was always like, this girl hates him, but she's following him. Every time we leave the room, she's right behind him. Yeah. And so, I mean, I would have never been like, oh, they faked a fight, but something seemed off from like the second she called him out to us hanging out in the house. She wouldn't leave us alone.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, if you hate him, why are you still like sitting? She would like literally sit next to him, stare at him, and then if he got up and left, she would leave.
So weird.
I was like, you hate him? So stuff was off. I mean, it was just funny how that came out as like a fake fight, and she thought it was such a huge plan, but realistically in the house, it was just like, we were just like, all right, you're still doing the same thing. You could act like you're mad at him, but you're still following him around everywhere.
Yeah. What was your perspective of Victoria's game? How do you think she played? Do you think that – I know that everyone thinks that she had a no game, But to me, a no game is still a game because it got her pretty damn far, you know? Like, don't do shit, don't talk to no one, fuck it. I don't know. What do you think about her game?
Victoria, actually, I talked to Victoria a lot, and she actually knew a lot of things that I was thinking in the game and never once threw me under the bus, which is why I had a lot of respect for Victoria, because I would tell her when I wanted to go after Caleb. I told her when I wanted to go after Frankie, and she never let them know. And so, for me, I just know she wasn't a good competitor, but she was in with the right people. Like, I was never going to try to send Victoria home because there was no need for it. And
exactly.
I was never going to try to send her home. So, she didn't play a huge game, obviously, but it was a
good game to get to third place. Damn,
exactly.
I didn't do it.
She knew who to be in with and wrote it out, because she was like, if I maybe cross Cody or cross Derek, I could be in big trouble. And she didn't. She stayed loyal to the both of us and crazy loyal with Derek, but was, not bashing her at all, because you can't bash someone that literally got into the final three. At all.
Absolutely.
Irregardless of whether, it's not fucking word. Even if she won no competitions, even if she won nothing, she's still.
Yeah, I agree. Again, that's how Big Brother is. What is the good game? How do you define a good game? Dr. Will didn't win shit, Like,
exactly.
I don't know.
So, and he's one of the best players to play the game.
Yeah,
so it was
absolutely.
It's crazy, but to each his own.
Yep, absolutely.
Cody, I want to ask you about Team America. Okay, a couple things about it. Okay, for one, whose game did Team America help / hurt the most? So, really, two questions.
Team America definitely helped Derek, because I think it made him get crazy tight with Frankie. And Frankie started to, I think that started to link up Frankie a lot with Derek, and it made Frankie respect Derek's game. Frankie had no idea the game that I was playing, because I literally flew under, like, he never knew anything about me.
Yeah.
Who hurt the most? I don't know. That's a really tough question. Who did it hurt the most? I'm trying to think of. Like what were their?
Did you see all their challenges? Do you remember all their challenges?
Kind of. I don't remember like the apple pie one. I don't know what that was.
That was a code language for them to know who else was on Team America. But I would say, like, our assessment over the podcast was that Derek and Frankie were using Team America to basically destroy Zach's game. Make him fights at the meetings. The stealing of stuff got easily blamed on Zach. Like, Team America tanked Zach's game in my assessment.
Yeah. What was the what was the one challenge that they had to get someone to blow up at? What was that one?
There was when Zach stood up at the veto meeting after the nomination, and he was trying to get Amber to fire back at him. That was a failed Team America challenge, if I'm not mistaken. And then also when he made the noms with Nicole, when he said, you and Gin City's skipping to irrelevance or whatever. I believe that was a Team America challenge too.
Was it? Okay. But the thing about that is that, like, that's for me, that's like a layup. Like, you whisper in Zach's ear something.
Yeah, exactly.
Week 2, Zach. All right. Everybody that watched the feed, so you guys know, Zach was bored 90% of the time. So he wanted to go off. He wanted to have fun.
Sure.
He was the best. He was the best. Like, the second week, he was like, dude, if I get put on, I'm gonna go off. And I was like, yeah. I was like, yes, please. He was like, do it. So after that, Zach was like, that was his character. So telling him he wanted to, like, start. He would come up to me all the time and be like, yo, I'm gonna tell Victoria to start an alliance with Jocasta and Donnie. I was like, dude, no. I was like, why? and so if you told Zach anything, he would have done it. So, like, they got a layup on that one to get him to do that, because he couldn't wait to do that stuff. When he won the HOH, first thing he did, robe, sandals, hat on sideways, pacing back and forth. Like, he was waiting for something like that. So I feel like that was a little bit of a layup. Do I think they wrecked his game? No, because he was a loose cannon.
Yeah.
And essentially, and well, I mean, I probably helped it a little bit because I was like, I thought he had to go because I was a little bit hurt that he was telling Frankie everything that I was telling him. I was like, dang, I thought that was my boy. I thought it was just a conversation between him and I didn't know that he was telling Frankie everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, when he was the one that went up on the block, it was because, I mean, no one could tell him anything anymore, and Frankie was scared he was going to come after him. So it was, I guess, it definitely hurt his game a little bit, but he fed into it. You know, when all that stuff, kid steals a cue ball. He brings it into the bathroom. I was like, dude, you're feeding into it, man.
Yeah. Oh, when I was watching that on live feeds, because I knew what he was trying to do. He's going to hide it somewhere else and say, "See, I didn't steal it" or whatever. But I was like, Zach, oh my God, dude.
What are you doing?
Yeah. I was like, oh Lord.
It was.
Yeah. I stole the 8-ball off the pool table when I left. Y'all were playing with new balls. We didn't know. So, when he stole that cue ball, I was like, well, I hope they let him have it. That way the 8-ball and the cue ball are stolen out of the house.
Oh, that's hilarious, dude.
But, dude, I wanted to ask you one quick. We need to kind of wrap it up just time frame wise. We're starting to kind of getting a little lengthy. But I wanted to ask you a few more questions, and I don't want your answers to be short. I want you to answer them. But okay, the rationale. I would like you to talk to us about the Rationale Alliance. That was kind of an odd week where I think America thought, wow, Hayden Nicole and Cody and Derek, this could really be something. And you've already alluded to it a little bit, but just go more into two things. One, I guess your alliance building, and what you did to make people not realize how close you and Derek were.
So when Hayden and I would talk a lot, and Hayden would open up to me about a lot of things, and so he told conversations would go down, and Hayden would be like, who do you trust? And I was like, I don't know, man. Derek's never really wronged me, to be honest, and I trust him, but you never know what can happen. I was like, obviously, Hayden, I trust you 150%. You're my closest ally in this game. I would always make Hayden feel like he was my closest ally. And he would always be like, yeah, I definitely like Derek. I trust Nicole a lot. And I told everybody, I was like, the closest person in this game to me, I would tell everybody was Christine. Because I was like, okay, if it falls on me and Christine, Derek could rally the house to get Christine out. So if I'm on the block next to her, we're good. So I told everybody, Christine and I were the closest people. So, but Hayden didn't trust her. So it turned into Derek, me, Hayden, and Nicole. And when we found out that Christine and Frankie were trying to start an alliance with them, and they wanted to start one with us, it was like, yo, we need to lock them down before Frankie and Christine maybe can squeeze in, even though all they did was talk smack how they would never work with them. Yeah. So, when Derek and I linked in on that one, for me, it was more to just spread it out in the house a little bit more. It actually made me a little bit nervous because I was like, this is bad. We're in too many alliances, and if one talks to the other, we could end up being screwed.
Yep.
And so it was cool because I loved Hayden, but, I didn't really talk much game to Nicole. She was very quiet. Yeah. And I really got close to her because of Hayden. And so when the Rationale started, it was more like play it for as long as we can, but it wasn't something to stay loyal to the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Cool. And what would you do to downplay your relationship with Derek to other house guests?
I would always say my big thing was, you and Derek are close, and I was like, we're not really that close. He's just a really nice guy. I would say that, I trust him because of all the people in the house. I've never heard him say anything bad, but I was like, I don't go and talk game to Derek. I was like, so I was like, I just trust him because he doesn't talk bad about me. I was like, he's obviously close with Victoria. I was like, he's close with Caleb, and so I always tried to play up my relationship with Christine and downplay my relationship with Derek. So
did you guys talk about that? Did you guys talk about how you kind of had to go and find other people that weren't you two, so you wouldn't be targeted together?
Honestly, not really. That was, I think, something that was unspoken between the two of us. Because I know my strategy was when I find the person that I can trust, don't talk to them every day.
Yeah.
And trust them enough that you don't have to talk to them every day. And I feel like it was like an unspoken thing between the two of us and I even said to him at one point, I was like, listen, bro, I was like, I trust you 150%. If it's a fault, then it's a fault and I'll go home. But I was like, if you have to say what you have to say to make people think that we're not together, I'll never think you're talking bad about me. I'll think it's game. And I said that to him a number of different times, which kind of gave him the okay, which honestly I think is what screwed me. Because he going to everybody and saying stuff, and if it got back to me, I would have been like, it's just game. He's trying to do it. But it helped him a lot. So it was, I don't know, man. It was a good duo. He was awesome to be with.
A tremendous duo, and like McCrae said earlier, it was very symbiotic. Like you couldn't have gotten to the final two without him, and he couldn't have gotten to the final two without you.
Like, I know that. I say it all the time, and that's why there was never a chance I could have taken Victoria, because what was I gonna dish down? I mean, granted, I didn't know that he won so much money with Team America, but
absolutely.
I wasn't going to cheat him out of money he deserved.
One thing that kind of pisses me off, and whatever. But with the Team America thing, they were allowed to talk about it, and I guess they didn't allow them to talk about it in jury. Okay, but if the rest of the jurors had known that Derek had already won $20,000 or $25,000, like, to me, that information would have been beneficial to have had out there.
So they could talk about it in the house, but they couldn't talk about it outside of the house.
Well, in so that's what they told them. They could talk about it in the house, but
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it.
Well, like Julie said when the Team America was announced, that like you could tell people if you feel like it would help you or not. So like it was able to be talked about, and none of them ever told anybody, and like you said, Team America helped Derek. It got him to, and Derek played a good game. I'm not knocking him, and I'll tell him the same stuff when I interview him here in a little bit. But Team America definitely helped Derek get in a good position, and then the hitmen being protected by yourselves, by not acting like a bunch of crazy fools, being protected by the detonators, and then the bomb squad. Between that, y'all were able to play very smooth in the shadows of Frankie and Beast Mode, who would never, ever, you could never say, Caleb, you're not running this house. I'm sorry, but you're not. He would never have believed you. I mean, like, and Frankie was the same way. So y'all played like this masterful symphony that got you both to the final two. And it's honestly, the Hitmen is one of the best alliances ever. I mean, you're always going to get that said about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, it's fantastic.
That was part of the reason why I wanted us two to be sitting in the final two, because I think it would have downplayed our entire alliance if I would have crossed them at the end for Victoria. Honestly, just respecting Big Brother as a whole, like Victoria sitting in the final two over Derek or myself, it would have just been like, that would have reflected on our season, to be honest, and we had such monster players in our season that, I mean, Derek was a beast, and the guy needed to be sitting there, so I just felt like he deserved it. It was, and he was my right-hand man.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and people see the dollar signs and they don't understand, okay? Like I get it. Like I understand the dollar signs too.
Right.
But at the same time, as a fan of the game and as somebody that you're loyal to, you knew you couldn't have gotten there without him. You one of the best alliances ever, going through the longest season with the most nominations. I mean, y'all played a masterful game. You still won good money. You didn't lose $500,000. You still won $50,000 you didn't have when you walked the door. Plus, you're like a Big Brother iconic alliance and player. And Cody, honestly, dude, Derek doesn't need to play again. If I was Derek, I would never step foot back in that house. I would say, yeah, fuck y'all. I got my money. But Cody, like for All Stars and stuff, brother, this is from the bottom of my heart. I truly hope that you get to come back, because you are a wonderful person, and your relationship, the way people perceive you as a kind, good-hearted person was evident all the way through the end, and even to the point of taking Derek. And my hat's off to you, bro. You're a stand-up man. So,
I appreciate that, bro.
And hey, another thing is I want to tell your dad that I said what's up, because he made my fucking night at that rap party when he
loves both you guys.
We love him. We love him.
He was incredible when he told me that like he watched our podcast and stuff. Dude, I was on top of the world. I really was.
That was
So,
great.
Yeah, when I told him, I was like, I'm doing something with McCrae and Spencer. He's like, all right, perfect. Both of them were. He was like, they were rooting for you from the beginning. He was like, those two guys loved you. He was like, absolutely. He was like,
yeah, and I have to thank you for all the shout outs you gave me during the season. Like, oh, I love McCrae. I'm like, why? Why did you love me? But it meant so much.
You're the man, bro.
No, I was like, yeah, I'm on Team Cody no matter what. It's game over. Team Cody, baby.
Yeah,
I loved it. Thank you.
I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for calling me a dingus repeatedly.
I don't even remember when that happened. I called you dude. I wish I could remember that because conversations we always talk about past house guests. Always.
Yeah, that's all there's to talk about.
Yeah, dude. I don't remember ever using the word.
He is a dingus, so you are right.
yeah. Trust me, I'm not offended by dingus.
I love the both of you guys. You guys are good people. I love you guys.
Absolutely love you too, Cody. And man, before we wrap up, is there anything that you'd like to say? Is there anything that you need to put out there, or anything to promote or do? Tell people to follow you, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, obviously follow me on Twitter, Instagram. My Twitter is Cody_Calafiore. Instagram, Cody Calafiore, one word. But obviously, thank you to all my fans. You guys have been unbelievable. The support that I'm getting right now is so surreal. It's amazing to have people that supported my game and have supported me through the beginning. I have my father, my family, they've taken note of the people that have supported me. I'm going to be giving shout-outs. Right now it's crazy hectic, but don't get discouraged. I see all the people that have been tweeting at me. I see everybody, and I will be doing shout-outs. Hitmen T-shirts are on sale. Email teamcodycal10@gmail.com and put an order in for your Hitman T-shirt. We love you guys, and you're the best.
I'll put this in the comments. It's Team Cody. What is it?
Team Cody Cal CAL10@gmail.com.
Cal 10. Okay. All right. Gmail. All right. I'll put that in the comments so people can get a hold of you through there. But anyway, follow me at Spencer B. Clausen. Follow McCrae at McCrae Show. And I want to just say, Cody, before we let you go, brother, I do, as a huge fan of the show, huge fan of the game of Big Brother, not just the broadcast that they show 3 nights a week. It takes to get to the end. I want to just thank you for adding to the mythos of Big Brother that the Hitman was a fantastic alliance. You being obviously, a key player in it, obviously. And, it's just incredible to watch, and thank you for a good season.
Thank you guys so much, man. I'm so happy you guys supported us. It's awesome. McCrae, Spencer, love you guys.
Yeah, buddy.
Love you too, man. Love you too.
We're gonna click off here, but this broadcast will be seen on YouTube. So anyway, everybody share the link, put it out there, put out the good word for Cody so people can see this interview. All right, we're going off the air.
See ya.
Bye.